Okay, so we're back and diving into more of Hitchhike this time. We're
Yeah.
really getting into some of the deeper reflections the author has
Right.
about, her 12,500-mile hitchhiking journey.
Right.
And today, I think what we're going to unpack is really interesting for you because we're going to be talking about
Yeah.
how we grow as individuals,
Right.
the role that challenges play in all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and her really unique perspective on what happiness actually is.
Yeah.
And I think, the goal here is to really keep it insightful
Right.
without, overloading you with information,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And she starts off with some pretty thought-provoking questions right away.
Yeah. What are they?
She asks, why does it often take like a jolt,
Mhm.
even something traumatic, to make us actually change course?
Oh, yeah.
Why do we wait for some sort of crisis before we act? You know what I mean?
Right. Those are questions that make you really kind of stop and think
Yeah.
about your own life for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But the way she answers these questions, I think, is really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Her perspective is she doesn't see those tough times as leading to, just ruin or breakdown or anything,
Right.
but as these intense crucibles almost,
Yeah.
where growth and real understanding are kind of forged.
I love that word, crucibles.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that from it.
Go for it.
But yeah, and then she goes on to say, bouncing back from it with wisdom
Mm.
is the happiness we are all searching for.
Yeah, so interesting, right? Like, it completely reframes how we might look at these, like, struggles, adversity, and things like that.
Totally.
What do you think she means by wisdom there?
Well, that's a good question because what is wisdom?
Is it like resilience?
Yeah.
Or is it like, a shift in priorities?
Mhm.
Or what do you think?
It feels like she's talking about something more fundamental, like this deeper understanding
Yeah.
of ourselves and the world around us that we can only earn by going through these tough things, not just surviving them,
Right.
but actually like changing and learning and evolving because of them.
Right. And I think that really connects back to, one of your main interests, which is gaining knowledge.
Yeah, totally.
Like, a lot of the times when we have those aha moments,
Yeah.
it's when we're actually grappling with a challenging concept
Right.
or trying something new, and we're kind of pushing ourselves outside of what's comfortable.
Right.
And I think she's saying something similar about life itself.
Yeah.
Like, the real learning,
Yeah.
the real wisdom
Yeah.
comes from stepping outside of our routines.
And I think that's something that's really resonated with me in this book,
Yeah.
is this idea that wisdom isn't something that's,
Right.
just for the older generations.
It-
It's available to all of us at any age
At any age.
who are actively engaged in life
Yeah.
and pushing those boundaries of comfort.
Yep.
And then she takes this really interesting turn into talking about perspective,
Oh, yeah.
which I thought was really powerful.
Mhm.
She makes this point that so much of what happens around us is just totally outside our control.
Yeah.
Like, we can't dictate other people's actions
Right.
or prevent every single difficulty
Of course not.
from coming our way.
Yeah.
But what she does say is we have complete authority
Mm-hmm.
over how we choose to see things.
Okay, so that kind of leads to this idea of personal agency.
Right.
She's saying that if we consciously choose to focus on the good,
Yeah.
the joy,
Yeah.
the love in the world, that can actually shape our own reality,
Yeah.
our own experience of life.
Yeah, and it's not about being like naive or ignoring the negative. It's about where we direct our energy.
Yeah.
Where we choose to focus our attention.
Yeah. What resonates with you most about that idea?
Well, for me, it's that empowering aspect of it.
Yeah.
Even when things feel really chaotic around us, there's still this space inside of us where we get to decide how we're going to interpret what's happening.
Right.
And I think that ties into how she talks about happiness,
Yeah.
which she describes not as this
Yeah.
fixed point that we finally reach.
Like a destination?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But as this ongoing journey,
Yeah.
this continuous process.
I love that metaphor she uses.
Yeah.
Happiness is a climb with all these ridges to overcome.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's so good.
It's really powerful.
Yeah.
And it's like she's saying that the real fulfillment
Yeah.
isn't just standing on top of that mountain.
Right.
It's about the entire adventure.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the progress we make along the way.
Right.
And I think that's really similar to, when
Yeah.
we're learning something new.
Totally.
The satisfaction comes from the process of learning,
Yeah.
the breakthroughs,
Yeah.
the deeper understanding.
Right. And I think that's what keeps it so engaging.
Totally.
And,
Yeah.
and keeps it so rewarding.
Yeah, and it's never a finished product.
Right.
There's always more to learn.
Right. Always more to explore.
Exactly.
And this section ends with her setting us up for this next part of her adventure.
Okay.
Which is called My Story, How I Climbed Mount Fanny Bartanics.
Okay, that sounds...
I mean, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like a real-life example
Yeah.
of everything we've been talking about.
Exactly.
So to kind of sum up,
Yeah.
we've talked about her perspective on challenges not as roadblocks, but essential parts of our personal growth. And, the way we gain wisdom through really engaging with life actively.
Yeah.
And our ability to choose our perspective, which, in turn shapes our experience and ultimately happiness being this ongoing journey.
Right. Not the destination,
Right.
but the process.
Exactly. And so for all of you listening, think about the ridges that you've already climbed in your own lives.
Yeah. What insights did you gain from those experiences?
No.
And how has your own perspective shaped how you've experienced things? Definitely something to think about.
Yeah. Great discussion.
As we wrap up this deep dive, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.